Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. My name is Nora Amala Taylor, and previously I shared a short video talking about my journey into the trades, but I wanted to dive a little bit more into that because I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people out in the world that I could reach who share similar stories to what I'm going to share with you here today. So I am a recovering addict, 15 years clean so far, and I was previously addicted to opiates and cocaine. In 2009, I had hit rock bottom. I was at the lowest point of my life. I was in active addiction, and I was doing whatever I could to get my next fix. And that led to me committing a robbery, which then led to me being sentenced to 6.5 to 15 years in state prison, in which I served 7. During the beginning of my incarceration, I knew that I had to turn my life around. I wanted to turn my life around. I couldn't continue on living the way that I was. My life had become just so small and dark, and my everyday, the only thing that I was concerned about on a daily basis was my next fix. And as troubling as that is, it's the truth. And I'm also a mother of 3, so my children struggled through my active addiction with me. I'm so grateful for the fact today that they were willing to forgive me for everything that I put them through. And I'm able to still be a part of their lives today, which is beautiful for me. But not to get off track, at the beginning of my incarceration, I knew I wanted to turn my life around. I had to. So one of the things that I started out doing, which I felt was going to help me continue on in the right direction, was to just be honest with myself, be honest about what I had done. And that was it. That was the first step that I knew I needed to take, was to just be honest. And that was what I did. So I went into my incarceration with that mindset. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be willing to put in the work, whatever it takes. And that's exactly what I did. In the state correctional facility that I was incarcerated in, I took part in all kinds of programs. Any program they had that I felt I could use to better myself, I did it. And another thing that I could do there was work. I could work at this institution, and there were trades jobs there at the institution. You could be a welder, you could be a painter, you could be a carpenter, electrician, you could be an auto mechanic, a plumber. So I had written to inmate employment and inquired about welding, auto mechanic, or electrical. Those were the 3 jobs that I was interested in. I received a reply and got placed on one of 2 electrical crews there in the institution. So I started my journey into the electrical trade while incarcerated. I started out being a maintenance electrician, industrial maintenance electrician's helper. That's where I started. So I did that for out of the 7 years that I was incarcerated, I did that job for 6 years, or maybe 6.5. But I did that work all that time. And when I was released in 2016, September 20th, 2016 is when I was released. And I knew I wanted to continue on in the electrical trade because I had just worked as a helper all those years. And not only did we do hands-on work, because we were the electricians there. We were the maintenance electricians. My boss and our crew. We actually did the electrical work. He taught us. We did a lot of hands-on work, and there was some book work, some theory involved as well. So when I was released, I knew that I wanted to continue on that journey because I loved doing what I did. And it just so happens that my parole officer knew someone who ran an electrical company. This was a non-union electrical company. And he hooked me up with that guy. And it just so happens that that guy was one of my parole officer's clients as well. He too had served time in state prison. He too was on state parole but he had come home, gotten his stuff together, and started his own electrical company. So that was the first electrical contracting company that I worked for. And it was non-union. It was quite the learning experience. Being the only woman on the crew was tough for me at times because there were some guys that didn't like me. They didn't like me simply because I was a woman and they didn't feel like I belonged, not because of anything that I did or anything like that. So it was tough at first being the only woman. But then that company went under, unfortunately, and I went to another non-union, more reputable non-union electrical company, and worked there for quite some time until that company organized in 2019, and I joined the IBEW, International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. And so here I sit today, clean and sober for 15 years. I'm 43 years old. I'm a mother of three. I have served time in state prison, like I said, 7 years. And I wanted to share this because if you have been through anything like what I just described, just know it's not the end for you. You can bounce back from rock bottom because I did. And the journey that brought me to where I am today, thinking back on it now, I can both laugh and cry because there were a lot of hard, sad, tough times. And I met a lot of really decent people along the way who have become lifelong friends. Some of them former inmates. Some of them are still currently incarcerated. Some of them were the staff that worked at the state correctional institution. And I just feel that it's important for people to know that just because you've fallen on hard times, maybe you're struggling with addiction, maybe you're facing incarceration, or you've been incarcerated and you're coming home and you're not sure what you're going to do, there are a lot of resources out there and you can turn your life around. So that's some of my story.